Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. Got another Master Duel video for you all. It's Monday, which means it's time once again for one of our viewer specials. For those who do not know, every Monday here on the channel, we do the viewer special wherein I showcase duels, not for myself, but from you all the viewers. This time, all of the games that are being submitted today have actually come from my new Discord. I announced this last week that and of course, in addition to having this new nice model on screen here, I've also started a Discord for the community. So I've been throwing it in the description of all of my videos, and it's no different in this one. You can go ahead and feel free to join by clicking the link in the description below. And I have an entire channel where it's literally called Viewer Special Submissions, where you can just go ahead and throw those games there. I'm going to be unpinning that Twitter thread. I think that moving forward, either the Discord channel there, or if you don't feel like joining, that's totally fine. You can also leave the replays here in the comment section of this video below. But moving forward, I would go ahead and leave the games in one of those two spots. You can still tweet at me, of course, if you'd like to do that. But it is a lot easier for me if they were just all in the Discord channel, because that is so convenient just to have them all right there. So yeah, definitely feel free to go ahead and join down there. As long as I'm plugging stuff too in the description down there, you'll also find my Patreon if you're looking for some more daily Master Duel content there. You can go ahead and join there. Just $5 a month. It's about the same price you pay for a pack of cards, but you definitely get a lot more value than you would out of that. So in any case, now that I've done all that, let's go ahead and take a look at some duels from you all the viewers. Oh, but before I begin, if you're wondering how you can submit games to the viewer special, as I mentioned, you can do so either here in the comment section of this video or on my Discord channel for viewer special submissions. The main bit of information that I will be needing is your 9-digit player ID that will allow me to, of course, look your profile up. Also, make sure that you are saving the replays publicly, because if they are not publicly saved, I'm not going to be able to view them there. It's also helpful if you have multiple replays saved, if you are able to leave a little bit of information. Usually the date and time and or the name of the duelist you played against are very helpful bits of information, but it's also nice if you want to throw in a little blurb about, like, I played this deck versus this deck. That can also be very helpful. You can also submit multiple games. I just ask that you don't spam submit the same one over and over again, but if you have multiple replays to share, that is totally fine with me. I will be more than glad to take a look at all of those there. So now that we've covered all that, let's take a look at the first game today. Okay, so our first duel today comes to us from Rulix here, who has a game where they are playing against Ancient Warriors with their Runic for Hire deck. I was quite interested to see this replay here because the Runic for Hire sprite, I'm guessing there's sprites in here, there might not be, but usually I think sprites are played in that deck too. But yeah, here we go. Runic for Hire is definitely not a deck that I am particularly well versed in. I actually haven't come across it that often, which is kind of surprising given how good of a deck it is, and I do think it is a pretty good deck. It is definitely one of the better Runic variants, I think, so. Let me go ahead and take a minute to read all of these Ancient Warriors cards here. I'll also leave it on screen here from it so you all can read as well. I know a lot of them do have kind of conditional sort of like battle effects, or I guess this one's during the main phase. Destroy a monster, opponent's monster with the highest attack. You can activate Ancient Warrior effects for the rest of the turn. So looks like the opponent has a destruction during the main phase there. This one looked like it was all battle stuff, yeah. And this one, let's see, this one can bounce. So the opponent looks like they have a destruction and a bounce as well as a back row here. So just kind of taking stock of what all the opponent has to see, what all we can do here. Looks like they're going to imperm the Rex Freight for Hire. It's going to stop us from adding one of our for hire spell or trap cards from the deck to the hand. But Rex is also a level 2 monster, so of course that will also enable our Sprite engine, of which we have quite a bit here. Looks like our opponent is trying too little too late to start destroying our level 2 monsters. Now that we have multiple on the field, we're just going to be able to keep the Sprite train going here, especially in the Jet, and using that to add the starter. We of course still have Carrot access as well, and we have Runic spells for even more level 2 monsters. So definitely no shortage of those in a build like this, and that's a pretty good thing. We even have the tip. Wow, we still have Runic Tip as well. Oh my god, no, we're about to activate Fountain. This is gonna be pretty wild here. We're going to be adding the Flashing Fire, banishing some cards on top of our opponent's deck. Going into the Sprite Elf next here. Bringing back the Rex Freight for hire. Now activating the Sprite Starter. That will 2-lock us, but that might not matter here. Again, I'm not personally too sure what all of the Runic for hire combo line looks like, but yeah, we might not need to do much more than setting up a bunch of Link and or rank 2s. In this case, looks like we are shuffling back for our Fountain, drawing 3 cards, 2 of which are Maxi and another is Freezing Curses. So, interesting board state we're ending on here. Looks like our opponent is going to try to start getting rid of our cards. We're going to be chaining, of course, the IP Masquerade effect as well as the Sprite Elf. So that way we get use out of our Elf as both for its effect and as a material as well. Are we going for Avermax? Looks like yes. Mekk-Knight Crusadia Avermax is going to definitely hold the line here alongside our Sprite and For Hire monsters. Now we get to add that For Hire spell or trap. Looks like it's going to be Rookie For Hire. I want to go ahead and take a look at this because I'm not 100% familiar off the top of my head. Quick play spell card. Tribute 1 monster. Special summon 1 monster for hire from your deck or hand, whose level is 1 higher or 1 lower than the tributed monster. You cannot declare attacks this turn except for hire if monsters. Got it. So that restriction doesn't seem like it even matters half the time, given that we, of course, are playing the Runic cards as well. Looks like we're going to be negating the bounce here with the Runic Freezing Curses. Makes sense. Because it doesn't target, I think, actually. So I think that could have gotten rid of the Avermax. Oh, no, it does target. Never mind. So we're all set there. And, of course, the opponent is not able to do anything in the battle phase, not without running into the Mekk-Knight Crusadia Avermax. Alright, looks like we are starting to go into our For Hire plays potentially here. Yes, here is the Donner Dagger For Hire. And we also drew, honestly, one of the reasons that I personally have not built this variant of Sprite yet is the Fossil Dig. It's a bit of an ask, you know? Like, if it was only the For Hire archetype URs I had to craft, I'd be, oh, and Nibiru, wow. Gonna definitely max C and get a couple of draws off that. But if it was only the in archetype For Hire stuff I had to craft, I'd be a little bit more willing, you know, to craft all those. But yeah, needing 3 Fossil Dig on top is a bit much. Getting both a triple attack, wow, and a Runic Tip. And we also get to put back the opponent's Nibiru with Avermax here. A lot of good draws off that max C, and even more solid draws, of course, just in the form of Runic spells here off of the triple attack. Now our opponent's in a pretty awful spot. They don't have anything on their hand or field, and we have pretty much free reign to kind of just start banishing as much of their cards as we really can at this point with all of our Runic spells. Gonna be using Fountain to get 3 more draws here, as well as the Hugin to get another Fountain for another potential 3 draws. It's gonna depend on really what we draw off of the 3 Fountain draws here. We got another Slumber, another Fossil Dig, and another Triple Attack. So definitely not the most useful draw, but we have the advantage anyway, so, you know. Going for another Donner here. I'm guessing is that to put it in the extra monster zone, right? Because we already had one out, didn't we? Oh, no. Sorry, that was with the Primal Being. Right, ours got Nibiru. That's right. Our first one did. Here is the Folgo, Justice for Hire. Let's see, summon a lot of different For Hire monsters, and you can get some draws as well. That's pretty much all I mean, that's just at a glance what I see what the effect is, so. Ooh, opponent actually managed to find a couple of things. I remember this Ancient Warriors monster from the normal rare event was a pretty good going second card. It has the ability to, of course, summon itself and then pop cards as well. Using the Flashing Fire, though, to just take it out right here, so we're not going to have to worry about that. And it looks like the 3 visits has pretty much been blanked as well. Getting even another draw for Folgo. That is something I will say about this deck that's absolutely insane, is like just how many draws that this deck can spit out between your Fountains, your For Hire cards. The Sprites don't get you draws, but the searches will definitely help you build card advantage. So definitely not going to have a shortage of cards playing a deck like this. And yeah, okay, opponent's just gonna concede at this point. I'm trying to remember, I was trying to think if we had activated a Runic spell this turn. I was trying to, like, remember if we could start battling or not, but looks like that's ultimately not going to be very relevant anyway. So thank you for showing off the For Hire cards here, Rulix. That is greatly appreciated. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next duel here. Alright, our next duel comes to us from the one and only Poop, a classic submitter here to the viewer special, and a longtime viewer of the channel. Thank you for your continuous support. Thank you all of you, not just them, of course, but everybody. But in any case, let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got here. It's going to be this game, I believe. Yes, we're going to be playing Tri-Brigade Sprite versus Cash Tira. Tri-Sprite, even though this is a deck that I do have, it's another one where I'm very much still eager to see other people play it, because it's one of those decks where it requires like a lot of finesse to play, and it's one of those where I'm like, you know, I could definitely probably use some pointers and refreshers, personally. Oh, that's right, you mentioned this in your description that you're playing under a dimension shifter here, which is definitely not very conducive for the Tri-Brigade cards. The Sprite half of the engine, however, doesn't necessarily have the most difficult time in the world playing under a D shifter. In fact, when tier limit was at its peak and we were in quote-unquote tier 0 format, you know, the Sprite deck themselves would often main deck the shifter. Wanted to check our banishes off of the Rise Heart here. Doesn't look like it got anything too huge. The Nimble Angler might come up. Actually, it kind of does, because now, because they banished one of the two Anglers, it makes using Sprint a little bit awkward, but I think how well we can use Sprint is kind of the least of our worries. Although, to be fair, our opponent doesn't have, like, although, you know, it looks like they're going to have both Finger and Unicorn. That's rough. I was going to say they don't have too much, but yeah, that's pretty rough. Wow, we're just throwing out the Finbear, the Beaver, not activating the Beaver, which I like, and then the red going straight for the Gigantic. Are we just going to battle here? Yep. Oh, no! Oh, no! The Gigantic wasn't 3,200! Oh no, we're just going for Zeus. Okay, that was on purpose. I thought we had mistakenly, like, because for some reason I thought the Gigantic was going to be 3,200 there. Also, you have a Royal Zeus. I am very jealous. That is an extremely good Royal. I have the Downard, which is like arguably one of the worst Royals. But got the draw phase max C for them, and the Zeus is would be awesome here if not for Change of Heart. But Zeus tends to be very, very good against Kashtira. Oh, are they gonna put their own Zeus on top? That's pretty brutal, actually. Yeah, Zeus tends to be pretty good against Cash. They often have a hard time recovering from the board wipe because they tend to front load a lot of their stuff onto the board there, and then they obviously can't react with any of the effects because then they're in the graveyard. They're not on the field anymore. I saw that Imperm was a very, very nice draw on the Zeus there. It's gonna stop it from giving us too much trouble. Now we can go ahead and make some plays with our blue and jet, and we're definitely not under shifter anymore. So yeah, graveyard-based plays are definitely a-okay to go. And we even managed to do that. Oh yeah, I was going to comment earlier. I really, really like that. Wow, we're going to have to play through an Nibiru too. Well, we'll deal with that in a second. But I was going to comment earlier. I really, really like that we didn't activate Nimble Beaver's effect when we normal summoned it. That's something that I don't think a lot of players would pick up on, but that was an absolutely correct move because the Rise Heart had banished one of our two Anglers, right? That means that we had remaining in our deck one Angler, two Beavers. So if we normal summon Nimble Beaver and grab either the Angler or the Beaver, that screws up our sprint to send Angler summon two Beavers line. So we have a hard time. It also, as I mentioned, you know, in the moment, it would have procced with the Cashier, Finmer, and Unicorn. So it's like, it's one of those scenarios where like the effect resolving was absolutely disastrous for us, but I think a lot of people, just out of force of habit, would have just activated the Beaver effect anyway. So props for not doing that Beaver effect earlier. That was huge, actually. I just wanted to make sure that I really emphasized that, but looks like we're getting here with a Nibiru now, after getting shifted, after getting Zeus, but now we get to draw two cards off the triple tack, drawing a Sprite Blue and a Cashier Fenrir. We have the Tri-Brigade Nerval though, and that's what's ultimately going to end up getting us some more plays. So really, I guess the triple tack was just to see if we got any relevant extenders. Wow, you have a Royal Elf too? Good lord. You have a lot of good Royals, holy shit. So looks like we are grabbing a Karos off of the Nerval. The Bear Bum is going to grab us a Revolt. That's going to be huge here. Yeah, putting back the Finger, we definitely don't need that. And we even have a live Sprite Smashers here as well. So alright, during the main phase there, we're bringing back the Angler. Going to use the Smashers to banish the Angler and the Nib. And then, yeah, whatever they set or try to, like, set up with here, we can just, flip the Revolt, and then we are good to go. Because now Even though we don't have that many tri-brigade monsters, we have plenty of nimble beavers to link off, and thankfully the tri-brigade Shurig the Ominous Omen, as long as you have tri-types, isn't too picky about having an actual tri-brigade monster. Yeah, just 2 or more Beast, Warrior, Wing Beast, so we can use Shurig to banish the Ogre, as well as Nerval to get a search here, and we definitely, I mean, we still have the token too, so like, we absolutely just represent lethal here. And yeah, I was going to say, I don't think with 1 card remaining, there's anything any Kashtira opponent could do to get out of this particular spot. So, good stuff. Thank you, as always, for the quality games there. Let's go ahead and just jump straight into our last duel. Okay, so our last duel comes to us from Suzaka, another long-time fan of the show, and a patron as well, I believe, if I recall. Yes, a patron as well. So thank you very much for your multiple forms of very awesome support. It is all greatly appreciated. You have a game where I believe you're playing Lab? Yes, playing Lab versus Dragon Link. I thought it might have been the other way around for a moment, but yeah, gonna go ahead and take a look at this duel here. 5 turns, so it's gonna be a nice back and forth, and sounds like we'll be seeing the flexibility of Labyrinth Shine in particular here in this one. We'll be taking the first turn this time around, using the Shand Dragolier alongside the Mudor to set up a Welcome Lab, as well as the Dogmatica Punishment and an Eradicator, ending on those 3 cards plus a Max C. Definitely love to see it. All this disruption here. Looks like they have the Crossout Designator for the Max C, flipping up the Welcome Lab in response there. Looks like we are grabbing the Lady Labyrinth. And now we have some options here as far as like negating stuff. Alright, opponent is leading with a Chaos Space with the Starliege Saver, more or less confirming that they are in fact the Dragon Link player. We are just absolutely shotgunning the Mudora here, but we are putting back a bunch of really relevant stuff, right? The Light Monster, the Starliege Saver in particular. Oh, except they just had another one in hand. Oh, that's brutal. Yeah, normally that would have prevented them from sending the Collapse Serpent, but yeah, they just had another... Not only do they have another Saver, which they just could have linked off for like a Striker Dragon, but they even pitched a Wyvern Burster for it too, so... What did they add with that, though? That was a bit of an odd... What did they add? They sent Wyvern Burster and then added a Wyvern Burster. I think that was a misplay on their part, definitely. They could have easily just added a Rocket Monster and had another one for their Brute Sector launch here, or one in general if the goal is going to be for us to stop the Abserator search. Although, given that we have Eradicator, it seems like we can just go ahead and call spells pretty easily here, and then from there they'll have a pretty hard time. Yeah, we're just gonna do that right now. From there, they'll have a pretty hard time bouncing back without that Boot Sector. Not impossible at all for Dragon Link. Oh, they have another Chaos Space in there as well. I saw Chaos Dragon Levy near, and I think Wyvern Burster, which we already knew about, is the final card there. So is it 2? Is it Levianeer and 2 Wyvern Burster? Is that what the hand is now? We get to pop our big welcome, but yeah, no attack with Levianeer because you cannot attack the same turn that you summon it. So we're looking pretty scarce on resources, but really as long as we have the Dragolier, it doesn't really matter what we top deck, right? We're going to always have access to another one of our Welcome Lab trap cards, which indeed we are setting up another Welcome Labyrinth directly to the field there. We get to check our opponent's draw during the draw phase there for the Eradicator. Looks like it is a Rocket Tracer, which does threaten to get them a lot of very relevant plays. I'm going to be using the Welcome Lab to pull yet another Lady Labyrinth out of the deck here. But it's got an Imperm, that's fine, doesn't really do much here for them. They are going to pop their Levianeer for the Rocket Recharger, and then summon out the Wyvern Burster, going for Dark the Dark Charmer Gloomy. Are they going to try to take our Lady Lab, I guess, but it's not really going to matter because we just get to bounce the Dark, and now we get a whole slew of graveyard effects. We get to reset the Welcome Lab, and also return the Dragolier to our hand. It's a really nice thing about Labyrinth's engine is it's so recursive, right? Like, it's so easy to just keep cycling your plays, as you talked about in the description, that this game really does show that off very well, and it does indeed show it off extremely well. Ooh, they actually set... Well, I mean, yeah, they were going to do that probably no matter what, but yeah, they did set up the Imperm in the same column as Welcome Lab, so that is ultimately going to stop it from resolving. But this Ice Dragon's Prison is going to go a long way, because it will allow us to basically get rid of a card out of their field and a graveyard, which is very relevant for a deck like Dragon Link. Oh, did they time it? Wait, it didn't. Did they? I wonder if they actually took that much time to think, or if they kind of like sat there after they decided they lost. Because I don't know. Obviously I wasn't playing this game live, but I kind of feel like the Dragon League player didn't necessarily have the most complex plays to make in the world for them to have hit the time limit, but who knows. So, in any case, thank you very much for sharing those duels. And yeah, if you would like to share games for the video, again, the way to do that is to either leave the relevant information, the player ID, as well as game-specific info in the comment section below, or you can check out the link in the description, head over to my Discord, and leave the viewer special submission in that channel over there. Either way, I definitely greatly appreciate everyone who is submitting duels. As always, ever, this series could not happen without you all. So thank you all so very much. Let's just go ahead now and move to our outro. Alright everybody, thank you so much for watching all the way to the very end of the video like this. That means a whole lot to me. Not just personally, but it's also a great way of supporting the channel as well. If you're interested in supporting the channel in other means, you can of course feel free to comment and or subscribe right here on YouTube. I'm always looking to the comments section. You guys leave some pretty awesome feedback as far as like constructive criticism goes when it comes to deck building, gameplay, channel content, all that stuff. So feel free to leave your opinion down there. I will be sure to take a look at that there. And then subscribing is going to be the best way to get notifications of when these videos drop. That does happen every day, by the way, so if you're looking for daily Master Duel content, you've come to the right place. And there are more places where you can get some daily Master Duel content. If you check out the description below, follow the top link over to my Patreon page. There for just $5 a month, which is as much as you pay for a booster pack, you'll find a lot more value than a pack full of filler over there. We've got some previews for content upcoming here on the channel. We've got some exclusive games that are only posted over on Patreon over there. We've got some Q&As, and then you can also have your name featured in this lovely credit sequence where I thank all of the people who are helping contribute over there on Patreon. It's a huge support to the channel, and it really means a lot as well. So thank you everyone who is donating that is featured here on screen. And again, you know, it's not just a pure donation. You do get some more daily Master Duel content over there just for being a part of the Patreon. But I think that's about all the time that I have for today's video. Once again, I just want to thank you so very much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. Again, it just means a lot, as I do put a decent amount of work into getting these videos out every single day. But that's about all the time that I've got for now. So without further ado, this is XLex. I'm signing out, and I hope you have a fantastic day.